team. It's time for the Daily Detangler. Let's talk about letting go. I don't know about you, but sometimes I have to check myself and recognize what we're doing and take a deep breath, meditate, do headspace, and let go of some things. What about you? Well, I've learned in that process that there's a concept of going with the flow, doing with, and choosing the team that helps me get through it. When I do these three things, I tend to be less selfish and I tend to produce better outputs, I believe. So let's talk about each and what I've learned there. Going with the flow. In a previous detangler, I talked about this idea of unified action and this idea of an action versus an activity. When you look at an action and taking action, the key to that was this idea of shared purpose. The shared purpose unites the thinking, the doing, and the outputs to support catalysts and drive change. That shared purpose unites action. It unites my action with the other actions on the team, of people on the team. That action creates opportunity, and then that opportunity becomes the future. Have you seen the future be created as we work? I sure have. Have you seen the future take foothold and become a new positive force for good in our clients? I certainly have. When we work together and take action, I've learned that this idea of seeing, and I learned this from clarity, calling out what he sees. And when I do that, when other people do that, it's pretty interesting because human nature kicks into me. I see interesting things happening when people call out what they see. And I didn't really know that this existed before. It was interesting. I'm so wired to do things. I'm so wired to focus on the how. I really didn't understand what the big deal was about calling out what we see. Well, the interesting thing about that is I found the more I did that and the more I was paying attention to seeing other people do that, and then the concept of Bigfoots, when that happened, it's interesting how something new is created. And it's like, I don't know exactly what it is, but perhaps it's like white space, creating the space for the brain to fill the gaps, or creating a way for others to participate without barriers. Something happens that's positive when we call out what we see, and it creates something new. And what works when we do that is we're doing with each other, not to each other. And that's a big concept I see in sales enablement. And my background in training development, it's almost ingrained in us that we do things to the learner. That's how trainers talk. They're learners. They're not even people, they're learners. But I love this picture of tug of war and everybody pulling on the rope together. And if you've ever seen that happening, or competition, or been in one, you can establish a cadence of pulling together and leaning in together, almost like a drum beat to pull against the other team. But this concept of working together, pulling the common thread, doing with, not doing to, is an important concept that I've learned as we've co-created value together and created what's possible together. Catalyst often talks about revenue as a team sport, and I see that on our team. It's awesome. And as we go into Act 1 and Act 2, and we prepare to fight productitis and a new client, we'll be presented with new challenges. Every client's a bit unique in how they show up. It's almost like how the patient presents him or herself to us as doctors. There's always some sort of nuance there. but there are repeatable patterns. As we go into Act One and prepare to fight productitis, engage in the go-to-customer model, and navigate through the complexity and ambiguity and uncertainty that exists, there'll be a time when we're asked to do a little bit more and pull a little bit more on the rope together. And doing with is an important concept to lean into each other. And that's played out on each engagement. And with Mimecast, I'm really interested to see how the team is able to rally to support Catalyst, so that we can help him be more successful. And especially in Act Two, when we move past the economic value preparation into the economic value enablement, so to speak, and we're actually bringing the economic value to life with account teams and customers. The change management trajectory as we reach the inflection point, working together and doing with each other, not doing to each other. That'll be a great moment for Mimecast, and it'll be great for us as we continue to evolve, right? And the thing that's really cool is the idea of the team and bringing this together. I mean, as Architect points out, just look at this team. Not only are we all great looking people, but it's quite a cast of characters. This team is creative, it's adaptable, it's fast, and there's a lot of trust. And this trust element is really something that I want to embrace even more in this Mimecast engagement. You know, I've gotten to know everybody over time, and this is a team that I want to do battle with and get in the foxhole with, and I believe has my back, and I want to have your back too. And I want to share what I'm struggling with, and then get your feedback. So far, there hasn't been a single challenge that somebody's brought up that the team hasn't figured out how to overcome. I don't think one challenge that we've brought up hasn't been overcome. Could we always do better? Yeah. But when you look at the results from the customer's perspective, it's phenomenal. So it's a really cool idea to engage in Mission Impossible, to do the mission well, and then take a step back and think about how we might do it better as we choose team. And that team view, what unlocks it for me is this shared experience we create on a daily basis through our activities, our Miyagis, our back and forth, and our building off of each other. You know, I have an idea, and I bring it up about how it's helping me change or helping me grow, or how I see something play out, or an observation, and somebody else chimes in that they have an idea, and you know, they have perhaps an observation, and they share what they see, and I share what I learned, and they bring those things together. And what do you get from that? What do you get from sharing observations and sharing learning and creating shared experiences together and improving together and working with each other? What comes out of that? You know, that this is an interesting question for me. What would you say comes out of those types of actions where we're co-creating together, or sharing observations, or bringing together ideas and building off one another? Well, to me, it's simple. It's progress. It's not a deliverable. It's simply progress. And in the status quo environment of our clients, progress is valuable. Progress is winning. Progress is a refreshing alternative to the status quo. Do we have to get it 100% right? No. Do we have to get it done? No, we never will. We'll never get it done, and neither will our clients. But the idea of being a change agency and injecting ourselves in and turning the tide of status quo and bringing together different perspectives to sell what's possible, and leaning into each other to co-create something that we never thought possible, and new ideas, and new learning. That's progress. That's progress. So I look forward to making progress in the coming weeks and months. And this is really principle 4 to me. Principle 4, trust the process, engaging with the principles in the now, trusting the process, leaning into each other. And that's exciting because co-creation happens. So as we go about the day today, trust the process, lean into it today, add your pebble. Add your pebble. Change happens one choice at a time. So that's been your Daily Detangler. I look forward to working with you today and doing with you today. As always, check out dailydetangler.com. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.